Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. Welcome to the January 26th, 2026 City of Burlingame Planning Commission meeting. For all in attendance today, please note that this Planning Commission meeting is being held in person and using the Zoom webinar format. Please note that we are not accepting remote public comment during commission meetings. Agenda item number 2, roll call. The record should note that all 6 members of the commission are present this evening. Agenda item number 3, request for AB 2249, remote participation. There are no commissioners participating remotely under AB 2249. Agenda item number 4, review of agenda. Staff, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, we do have one. Item number 8C, 1822 Sebastian Drive will be continued at the request of the applicant. So that project will not be reviewed this evening. Public hearing notices will be resent when that is agendized again in the future.
Thank you. Do we have any recusals? I'll be recusing from item 8B, 1437 Cabrillo, as I live within 500-foot radius. Agenda item number 5, public comments, non-agenda. Members of the public may speak about any item not on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to suggest an item for future Planning Commission agenda may do so during the public comment period. The Ralph Brown Act, the state local agency open meeting law, prohibits the Planning Commission from acting on any matter that is not on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on any item that is not on our agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to the next item. Agenda item number 6, consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are considered to be routine. They are acted on simultaneously unless separate discussion and/or action is requested by the applicant, a member of the public, or a commissioner prior to the time the commission votes on the motion to adopt. This evening, we have 2 items on the consent calendar. Item 6A, approval of the January 12th commission meeting minutes, and item 6B, 233 Arundel Road. Would any member of the public or Planning Commission like to pull either of these items for discussion? No? Commissioners, any comments? Any motions?
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
I second it.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Say and a second by Commissioner Pfaff. Any discussion on the motion? May we please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Commissioner Kidd,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
Chair Haran.
Aye, the motion passes 6-0-0-0. Agenda item number 7, action items. There are no action items this evening. Agenda item number 8, study session. We have 2 now, agenda items. Item 8A, 1150 Vancouver Road. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communications regarding this project? Let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report, please?
Yes, the subject property is an interior lot with a 10-foot utility easement adjacent to the rear property line. The applicant proposes to demolish all existing structures on the site and build a 2,998 square foot, 2-story single-unit dwelling with an attached 2-car garage. Along with major design review, the applicant is requesting a special permit for a 21 square foot second floor balcony at the front of the house and a special permit for a proposed attached 2-car garage. Staff supporting the special permit request for the proposed attached garage, which complies with setback requirements and provides 2 single-wide garage doors to break up the massing at the front elevation. Staff report is linked in part to the canopy and root spread of the 2 existing large oak trees on the neighboring property, which could potentially be impacted by the construction of a new detached garage at the rear left side of the lot. That concludes the project introduction, and I can take questions of staff if there are any.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward, state your name and anything else you would like to add about your project?
Hi, good evening. My name is Jason Guo. I represent the owner of the property. And yeah, this is a new construction with an attached ADU. We have been working with the staff of the city for a year now, and we did multiple rounds of revisions and edits. We try to listen, we try to follow the requirement, and right now we have a design that both us and the staff are happy with. So we'd like to request approval of the commission, and we're ready to answer any questions. And I have my design team here, some of them here, and some of them should be online. So hopefully we'll have all the answers that you need.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the applicant? Maybe I'll start just on a clarification for sheet A6-1, which is the rear elevation.
Okay.
Shows glass accordion doors, it looks like, on both the left and right side. But then what we're looking at here on sheet A10 is different.
Give me a sec.
Oh, no, never mind. Never mind.
Side.
Yeah, sorry, that's my mistake.
Okay.
I'm looking at the, it,
That got me too.
yeah, I was expecting,
He sets a door.
got it. Yeah. I thought the lower left was the rear elevation, but it's the lower right. Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I'll go. I noticed that the finished floor looks to be the same as the garage level at the front of the house.
Yes.
Are you not concerned about water coming in down from the street and going straight into the house?
Yeah, thank you for raising that. So the reason that we did that was because of the deck, because, we're dealing with a lot with slopes, and the deck that we had in the back would be too high to be excluded. So that's why we kind of lowered the height of the house. And because, we've consulted with engineers, and there are ways of drainage system that could mitigate that. So we wanted to, basically, still keep the deck in the back, but at the same time comply with the requirements. So that's a little engineering compromise that we did.
Okay. And can you tell me a little bit about all the glass that's going down to the ground?
Let's say, so you mean on the side?
The side windows?
Yeah, I guess that's the design element that the designer was going for. And oh, by the way, if you're referring to the drainage issue, if that's what potentially is what we're talking about?
No, no.
Oh, okay.
See, the drainage issue is a front door issue that
Okay.
going to go straight in the house.
Sure.
But I'm thinking, there's 4 or 5, and there's actually the large window in the front too that goes down to the ground.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of windows down to the ground.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's kind of the general, we want just, we kind of prefer the openness of, because nowadays there was the high efficiency triple pane glasses, the European style. We could still satisfy Title 24 requirement while having a larger, sunlight, basically a better illumination for the house. But we're willing to work under the requirement if there are any, but that's sort of the general direction that we preferred.
Okay. Can you tell me about the purpose of the balcony on the front?
Let me see. Oops. Oh, I guess I guess that's just part of the element that they included in the design. And just a little bit of, you kind of, yeah, I guess it's more like a preference. We don't really have a particular, reason behind it. It's just like we like the feel of something that you could, it's not that big. It's not very intrusive, if that's the right word, but basically we could still walk out with a little guardrail and just kind of enjoy the openness of the front of the house, if you will. But yeah, that's kind of like more like a preference.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question about the, let's see, I guess it's the north elevation. So what I'm seeing is the rear. So is there a reason why you went with these? Never know what they're called, the kind of pop out modern bay windows in the back.
Uh-huh.
It looks a little like a bug. I just wondered why you chose those, and everything's so, there's a little asymmetric going on in the house otherwise, and then this is symmetrical, and I just wondered.
Yes. So are we referring to, let's say, if we're looking at the rear side on the second floor, there are two bay window
Yeah, it's
sort of square going out?
yeah, well, it's the rendering A10, the lower right.
Yes. So, yeah, that one. Okay, so when we were looking at design sort of ideas, the design firm that we work with, we looked at one of their project where they had this, it's like a bay window, but it kind of sticks out a little bit. But of course, we're still at the planning stage. The engineers would have to look at the details. But the idea is that you have a sort of like a bench height or a little bit higher than bench height window, and then you put your hardwood engineering wood flooring at that. I don't know what's the term, like basically the window sill, but it's a deeper window sill. So, and you could put, two pillows on the side, and they actually put these shelvings on both sides of that little, like that little extra space going out. So you still have the window, but you also have almost like a little seating area, like, like Asian families, they sometimes they have a little, like almost like a bench seat that's maybe this wide, and you could put a little square table so two people can sit on both sides and they could enjoy a tea. So it's more like a design feel that we preferred. So that's why we kind of chose, say, oh, we like that particular design idea from your past project, and can we somehow incorporate those more?
Okay,
So,
okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Yeah, one more, please. The siding, I'm trying to read through the material and I wasn't smart enough to look it up on the internet before I came. Is it a wood siding, a simulated wood siding?
Okay, that's a good idea. I think again, maybe the architect will have more idea, but I guess for us as owners, we don't really have a preference. Like basically this is like the type of modern ranch we're looking for. And I guess we're okay with, I don't even know the choices, maybe composite but anything that's more, basically we want it to be more environmentally sustainable and of course long-lasting and more modern. So again, based on my limited knowledge, I would say that again, as owner, we would prefer not to be the traditional wood because I believe those require like maintenance, right? You kind of have to paint it every few years. So if there are modern, environmentally friendly material that could achieve similar looks, that would be something that we'd be shooting for.
Looks like a clear iron ash wood siding.
Oh, and here I was trying to say Clea.
It was just a
Space.
spacing error.
If the architect knows and can tell you, great. If not, we need to get that clarified for the next time because it
Sure.
actually comes into how are the joints going to happen in the corners?
Ah, okay.
Because if you're using most of the simulated sidings, they then
Uh-huh.
require some sort of corner board or some sort of corner detail.
Okay.
At the moment, you're kind of more showing it as a mitered corner,
Okay.
which we tend to like better, but
Okay.
I recognize that if you pick a different material, that's not what's going to happen.
Ah, okay. Wait, so again, so the mitered sort of joint is that more for the traditional wood siding?
More desirable in that it fits more within the neighborhoods that we have,
Okay.
but it's not that we don't allow, that we don't have corner
Sure.
boards.
Sure.
It's just a matter of getting a really good detail because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
be done poorly.
Okay, okay, got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, actually, I mean, our design team, are you guys aware of the material selection that we did for the white siding?
Currently, the plans do specify wood, shiplap, wood siding.
Oh, okay,
So that would be natural if you'd like to change
okay.
and discuss it later.
No, actually,
Correct.
again, for us, I guess, it's just like the overall look is what we could tell, right? So we're actually okay with, basically if the commission or the city prefer it to be traditional wood, we can just use that. Or if that has been specified on the sheet, then it's just, I wasn't aware of that, so we could just keep that if that is acceptable.
I think you're going to need clarification because what I'm also reading is in the little specification on wall materials, there's a bunch of other words that lead me to plants.
Okay,
So I would just say for the next round,
sure.
be really clear on that material. Because
Yes.
like I said, it'll really depend on how we would like to see the details
Okay.
work because you got a lot of corners.
Yeah. That's, we'll make sure our team have the, my design teams have the, make note and then make sure they clarify that next time.
Any other questions? Yes.
One more question. Are there any windows in the proposed kitchen?
Let me see. Oh, can you repeat the question again?
Are there any windows in the kitchen? No windows? Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
What's the black?
I don't,
Commissioner Say?
I don't understand that.
Commissioner Say?
You done?
Oh,
Are you done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just a quick question. How are you planning to use that little side courtyard or little side deck outside of the dining room?
Yeah, let me see. I guess the idea was just have a deck there with that I can't remember we decide, maybe it's too early to decide, but it's either sliding or folding doors that could kind of open and create this indoor outdoor fusion, if you will, and I guess we'll have some outdoor furnitures there, just seating and that kind of when the windows and doors are, I mean not windows, but when the doors are open, you have sort of I don't know, like you have a dining area, you have your island with a kitchen, and then you could have a little tea area on the deck that's all sort of open and connected together. So yeah, I guess at least that's the idea.
Thank you.
I have one more question,
Go ahead.
if that's okay, Chair Horan. So looking at the landscape L1 and 2, it looks like you have two golden rain that you put in the back, but they're extremely close together. And those are big trees. So it's on my, I think this is the most recent. It's L1, 2, and there's sort of behind is that a deck in the back? There's an area, small area, and it says 2 golden rain. At least I think it's 2 golden rain. And those are really big trees. So I had a suggestion. In the front, you've got a myrtle, which is not a big tree in your big setback in the front. And you have a fair setback in your front yard.
Mhm.
So I was going to suggest switching those out. So I don't think there's any way two Golden Rain will fit. They're just like, I don't know, 7 feet apart or something. They're too close together for a big tree.
Okay.
So maybe you might think about moving the myrtle back there somewhere in the backyard.
Okay.
And then in the front, you have just do one Golden Rain,
Okay.
put the myrtle back there in one of those areas where myrtles are small. And then in the front, in your setback there, where you have the myrtle listed.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Yes,
in the form of a question.
Oh, I'm-
Otherwise,
sorry.
we can discuss
yes.
that during our.
Okay, I went too far.
Oh, no, thank you. I was,
Sorry, I was,
okay.
I'll do later.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I actually, I'd like to write those down and make sure we reflect.
I'll do later.
But, all right, thank you.
Sorry about that. Just a clarifying question to follow up on Commissioner Lowenthal. So there's no windows in the kitchen, but I see 3 skylights above the kitchen cabinets, right? Is that how light is getting into that end, I assume?
Yeah, let me, oh, is that it? The details?
There's 3 2x4 skylights.
Okay, yeah, yes, that's,
Because if it was nothing, it would be a little bit odd, I would agree, especially on an east face.
oh, yeah, you could see from the
Yes.
elevation, yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, I didn't even pay attention, that actually sounds
Well,
good to me.
Actually, while we're there,
Yes,
you've got black walls that don't necessarily correspond to the windows. And then you've got walls with no pochette that look like they're probably solid. So my feedback would be pochette where there's no windows and remove the ones that are in the wrong spot.
oh, sir, can you repeat this part again? I really want to,
The dark black areas in the walls.
okay.
uh,
You mean where the skylight is?
Well, it could be where the skylight is, but it actually happens in a lot of different areas. So it's
Um,
just
On the floor plan.
on the floor plan.
All space.
Yeah, those are crawl space vents,
Oh,
See.
according to the legend. Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, it's a little,
My fault.
confusing.
Oh, no, maybe the legend wasn't accurate.
No, that's correct.
No, it's correct.
Oh, okay,
Crawl space fence.
Seen it that way.
Yeah, me either.
That's all.
okay, all right.
Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on this item? Please note that speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Commissioners, comments?
Who wants to go?
Wants to jump in? Commissioner Today, do you want, are you?
I can start. Thank you for being so good at answering our questions and having the knowledge about your plans. I have a few problems with the proposed design. I guess first maybe I'll start off with kind of windows and fenestration. There is a great deal of glazing around the house, and on the second floor, they in general tend to be larger than the ones on the first floor, which kind of creates a little imbalance when we kind of consider each elevation for its merits. And I understand some of it may be bay windows for bedrooms, but I just overall feel like the amount of glazing on the second floor almost exceeds the first floor, other than all those large bifold doors. So I just think maybe a little bit more attention to the maybe placement and size of the windows, even some of the shapes. I'd like to see a little bit more regularity, a common maybe shape or dimension carried across all the elevations. You know, we have everything from squares to skinny rectangles to elongated, horizontally oriented rectangles. So just to take a look at that. I'm concerned about that side yard, kind of courtyard, I'm calling it, outside the dining room. The property to the left has is, its driveway is on the left side of that property. So I'm worried about noise, coming from, these bifold doors once opened face into the main living space of the house. And, with the kitchen, the dining area, and you mentioned it could be a, indoor outdoor dining type space, and I'm concerned about noise pollution to the neighbor on the left. You have a nice deep backyard. It seems like orientation for some of this type of outdoor dining might be better along the backside, or just anyway, to be more aware maybe of the left neighbor and what potentially could be happening here once those doors are opened on a day-to-day basis. Let's see. On the roof structure, I appreciate the simplicity of the 4 and 12 sloped roof pitch, and staying fairly consistent with that, and the interplay of some of the more flat roof elements seems to work fairly well. It just seems like maybe it's the left elevation, having a little trouble with that one. And also the right elevation, kind of the opposite, like not enough is happening over there. Maybe too much is happening on the left. We see every roof form on the left side. Granted, that's not a very big view. And I would say, in the future, in the next round, that you might want to correct the renderings. Certainly, there isn't a big lawn right in front of the of your side yard, and so I think this representation makes it look like that's the backyard when actually it's a side yard. So that would be helpful just to, because again, it's not a major view from anywhere, but I'm just having a little trouble with the roof interplay here on this left elevation. I like that there's some shade provided for that back door leading to the deck, that there's some shade there. Speaking of shade, I'm not sure how well that front balcony is going to work for you. I think that's facing Roosevelt Elementary. So I don't know how pleasant that is to open the doors and I mean, certainly you could enjoy the schoolyard sounds, but and pick up drop off period and everything. But it's small, so it seems like it's a little bit more of an intimate balcony. But I don't really know how you would use it, and it's also shaded for just like in your rendering for probably a good part of the day. It's in shade, and certainly in the afternoon. So it's not really an enjoyable spot. Maybe even better just to make it part of the indoor space if you have any square footage left to do that. So, and I had a comment about the garage, but I can't remember what it is. So those are my comments for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner
Thank you.
Say. Commissioner Pfaff?
Or should we go for that end first and be?
No, whatever, you had.
All right, I'm going to go for it. So before I talk about plants, my impression is there's some parts that work and there's some parts that don't. And it's looking to me like you've done symmetry in some of it, and then you've done asymmetry in other parts. And to me, the forms they're not quite working together yet. I can see in the back where we were just, where Commissioner Say was referring about, which she was referring about the balcony and that being kind of small and maybe not so useful. It does look a little squished, but there's something nice about the form. It doesn't have to have the balcony in there, but you have height. You do have some height left, and it would have been nice to see more asymmetry, kind of maybe that roof going up a little further and kind of diving into the other form. Something is not coming together, and maybe it would look better, more asymmetrical. Feels like a decision should be made. This is asymmetrical or it isn't. Sometimes you've got the three, like on the west elevation, you've got 3 windows, and they're all under the pitched roof, all symmetrical. And then in other areas, it's not. And certainly in the back, it's sort of symmetrical. Maybe that can be made more interesting in some way. So I don't know if that's helpful, but that's just my general impression. But going back to the plants, something maybe more specific. So I mentioned that the golden rain, you have 2 golden rain trees in the back planted, and they are too large to put right next to each other. And so maybe the myrtle in the front, which is a small tree, maybe you can find a place for the myrtle in the backyard. Just leave 1 golden rain tree. And then in the front, get something more substantial. And I did speak with Miss Shea from the Parks Department about this. And her thought, and I think it's a really good suggestion, was to look at the trees for 6-foot planter strips, several of which are, gee, my computer just went kind of dead, several of which are in the oak family, and you're taking out many oaks in the back. So it might be nice to put, you have room, might be nice to put, live oak there in the front or something which is, is going to have some stature because, you've got a lot of frontage there with your attached garage and such. I think it'd be really nice to do that kind of a statement. And that would be my suggestion. And certainly you should discuss with her if it's not clear what
Yes.
I'm expressing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote down everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments?
Yeah, I'm not really feeling that the design style is fitting in with the neighborhood there. I think that some of the forms are working, but I think the overhangs are kind of inconsistent, and therefore it's making the roof forms not work for me. I like deeper overhangs on the gable end. I like that part, but you didn't do hardly any overhang on the eave sides, and so it kind of looks like it's got a hat, but no sideburns. So it's not holding up symmetrically very well. I think that I'm not really seeing a style being expressed here and a style that fits with the neighboring homes. And there's a bunch of different kinds, so I'm not saying we're only looking for one kind. It's just that this one doesn't seem to fit in for me. Windows, I would agree, too many windows and too large. I think I understand the desire to have light coming in, but with this many windows and with low sill heights, you're not going to have anywhere to put furniture. And so that's going to be a challenge. I also think it's going to be expensive, and the bigger windows along the side then also tend to create issues with the neighbors who are not wanting to look into your house or be looked into their house. So most of our architects tend to put smaller windows along the side or put the restrooms and closets on the side and focus more on the back and the front. The pop-out windows for me look like bug eyes. That was a fair comment. I'm not sure as a pop-out that it works that great, and it makes it look more like a combination of modern and not. The rear columns with the second floor going over the rear deck area or patio area, I'm concerned that structurally you're going to need more there than what's looking like, because you don't have a whole lot of shear value holding up the back of that house, and you have a lot of floor up above. So I think it's going to turn into a soft story quickly when you start to talk to the engineer. Similarly, the glass horizontal going across facing on the rear elevation, I think you're going to need to break that up because you're going to need a header to go across there to support the roof up there. So I'm not sure if that works structurally, but it'd be something to look into sooner than later. The wood siding, I think should be clarified for the next round so that then that's easy to tick off. And make sure that you guys understand how that details so that then we can ask about that.
Yes.
And I concerned about the slab on grade at the front and then transitioning to stem walls midway through the house and doing then a crawl space that's probably going to take some digging out, if not, or it's going to be not helpful. But I think that's, you should take a look with the structural engineer to see if that's going to be a viable solution.
Yes.
Because otherwise he might tell you some things that you're going to want to do different.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that the feedback we're giving will give you guys a good chance at your next turn back with us.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything my fellow commissioners have said so far. The only thing I would add is just to make sure on the next round to be a little bit more detailed, especially in the renderings. There's a significant amount of crawl space fence. And so it'd be nice to see those on the elevation, how those are going to be handled as well. At the kitchen area, you currently have the range on that kind of blank wall, and then you have skylights above. So you're going to have to try to vent that range probably straight back into the wall. It'd be interesting to see what that's going to look like design wise, and potentially if there's an operable window nearby. Otherwise, as a builder myself, I would echo my fellow Commissioner Schmid to check out the civil engineer and the structural engineer in this case. I would be deathly afraid to have slab on grade in the front of the house in Burlingame with not much pitch on the street as
It's down.
yeah, it's down. So I'd just be concerned if a drain pipe gets clogged, a storm drain gets clogged, it's going to go right into the house. So even a little curb, something a little bit higher, that's not going to change your light at all coming into the house.
Right.
So just things to consider. And then going from a slab on grade to the raised in the rear, it's not an inexpensive way to build. So you can do it. I'm not going to stop you, but there are other ways to look at that to potentially save money. Otherwise, the overall design, it's not my favorite, but again, that's a subjective opinion. So I'd be okay with that. I can also find for the attached garage, that makes sense, especially for the staff report. If we were to force a detached garage, they would either have to kill a couple trees or completely change the curb cutouts of the street, which I agree is not necessary. So I think the garages work. The balcony in the front doesn't do anything for me. I understand it's kind of an afterthought of the design, but it's one of those things that I probably wouldn't stop it, but that's all.
Right. I agree with pretty much everything my fellow commissioners have said so far. I'll just point out I'm okay with the bug windows on the back because those face the ADU bedrooms and there's not a lot of space in ADUs to begin with. So a little seating area, that sounds great. And if it's in the back, not too many people will see it. So I don't think it's the biggest deal. Conversely, not necessarily the type of windows, but the size. I do agree. Some people have called out on the front. The size of the windows are a bit large, and there's not much of a rhythm to the second story, which is a little more. There's more rhythm on the sides. I don't have a huge problem with the sides, other than privacy issues, which has already been mentioned. But yeah, that's basically all I have to add.
Trying not to be redundant, but I think I will end up being redundant. Yeah, I think given the location, our comments are also meant to try to save you some money and
Yes,
more
thank you.
pragmatic.
Yes.
That front balcony facing a school that's only 20 square feet doesn't seem like anyone will ever use it. I walk the neighborhoods all the time. I never see anyone on any balcony ever. So so I'll just echo my fellow commissioner.
If I may share, I have 3 kids.
Public hearing's closed.
Okay, all right.
I The siding, we definitely need clarified, but it is clear that it's specified as shiplap. Shiplap can look cheap in a way. It's not clabbered, it's not, and so I am concerned about the look of shiplap in a modern house. And it, you know, these bay windows, I don't mind on the back, to Commissioner Shore's comment, but when I look closely at the bay window detail sitting on shiplap, those modern details seem to go better with a different siding material, like a smooth stucco or something. I think the columns, in addition to the structural concern about the rear columns, having them wrapped in shiplap is not an easy detail to get right. It's got to be perfect, or it's going to look a bit strange, and it tends to kind of make the structural element disappear, which might be the intent, but it's also, I think, a risky detail to get right, because that's 4 miters on a small column all the way up, and I've seen that go wrong. The windows are big and there's a lot of them, so you might want to look at that again. Even the front elevation, where that main window is massive and goes all the way to the floor. Again, when you walk Burlingame, you'll see houses that have that, and there's, you know, a shade or a drapes constantly covering it, because you're in a fishbowl in that type of a setting. This is beyond our purview, but I just encourage you to look at the practicality of the floor layout. There's no closet on the first floor near the front entrance. So when you have guests, I don't know where they put their coats. So there's just a few very pragmatic things from a layout perspective you might want to look at. So I think I've covered that. Great. Anyone want to attempt a motion? I've made notes, so how about I attempt?
There you go.
So this is meant to be a study session, so we'll just note all the comments that you can consider to incorporate for your next review.
Yes. Thank you very much.
So I'd like to make a motion, theoretically, to move this to action. I guess we could always continue it with the following comments. There are too many windows, too large, and to look at especially the second floor glazing, as well as the consistency of window dimensions. The dining room courtyard concern around noise and privacy. The left elevation seems too busy, with the right elevation too plain. We talked about the balcony potentially not being a practical necessity. Commissioner Pfaff's tree suggestions to move the large trees apart from each other and maybe replace the species. Symmetry on the roof overhangs between the gable and the eaves. Just to be sure you have a structural review of the spans involved over the bifold doors, and then the slab on grade drainage issue from a civil perspective. When you come back, just double check that the rendering is an accurate representation of the elevations.
Yes.
Consider different material for the columns in the back because of the difficulty in doing shiplap there. I think that was everybody's comments. Did I miss anything?
Do you have the overhangs, the roof issues? Okay.
And that we're generally in approval of the attached garage.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I think we all support the attached garage request.
Thank you.
Do I have a second for the motion?
I'll second it.
Any discussion on the motion? We have a motion by myself and a second by Commissioner Lowenthal. May we please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmid,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
Chair Haran.
Aye, the motion passes 6-0-0-0. This action is not appealable. So I will recuse myself. The next item is 8B, 1437 Cabrillo Avenue.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 8B, 1437 Cabrillo Avenue. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communication regarding this project? Okay, note that Commissioner Haran is recusing from this item, or has recused. Let the record note that all the commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report, please?
Yes, this application is for major design review, special permits for declining height envelope and height, variances for first and second floor front setbacks, and for a left side setback for first and second story additions to an existing single unit dwelling. The lot on the property slopes upward from the front to the rear property by approximately 20 feet or 16.7% slope. Because the project includes the removal and replacement of more than 50% of the exterior walls, it is considered substantial construction, and all existing nonconformities are lost. The applicant is requesting variances to rebuild the nonconforming conditions, including the front setback to the attached garage, 19 feet 10 inches where 25 feet is required, and the left side setback to the first floor, 3 feet 11 inches existing where 4 feet is required. In addition, variances are requested for the new construction that encroaches into the front setback on the first and second floors, 19 feet 8 inches proposed where 20 feet 10 inches is required, and for the left side setback on the second floor, 3 feet 11 inches proposed where 4 feet is required. The applicant is requesting a special permit for declining height envelope on the left side of the dwelling where 5 square feet of the structure encroaches into the declining height envelope. The applicant is also requesting a special permit for height where 35 feet 1 inch is proposed and up to 36 feet is allowed with the approval of a special permit. Commissioners, there were 2 public comments submitted after the preparation of packets for this item, and they're included in the supplemental packet that was delivered to you. That concludes the introduction, and I'm available for questions of staff.
Any questions for staff? Okay, I'd just like to briefly clarify, how many special permits are there? And there's declining height envelope and height, is that the same special permit?
Height, there are 2 different special permits. One's for declining height, one is for overall height to the
Okay. And then the same for variances?
Variances, there's the second floor setback on the left side. There's the first and second floor at the front, and then there's a variance to replace the existing first floor on the left side.
Sorry, what was the last setback?
To replace the existing first floor wall at the left side.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for staff? Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward and state your name and anything else you'd like to add about the project?
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Mark Brand. I'm the architect for the project. At first glance, the project appears to request a large number of variances. In reality, these variances are primarily a result of our effort to retain the existing building footprint. At the garage level, we're building within the footprint of the existing first floor in order to provide an interior stair, but everything's within the building envelope. At the front of the house, the proposed structure projects forward by only 2 inches. This small projection allows us to create necessary facade articulation and establish the vocabulary of a 2-story bay with a forward-facing gable roof. The existing house is a simple ranch in a vaguely mid-century modern style, which would be difficult and somewhat contrived to preserve while adding a 3rd floor. For that reason, we chose a modern farmhouse vocabulary that is more appropriate for the addition. To achieve this design, most of the existing windows needed to be replaced. There were corner windows and things that were typically of the mid-century period. And while the exterior walls remain in their original location, it technically resulted in the removal of more than 50% of the first floor walls. Due to a provision in the current planning code, which I understand will be revised in coming months, the project is therefore classified as substantial construction, triggering many of the required variances. The variances related to the third floor are minimal in scale. 1 inch at the side yard, well, actually, it varies. The house isn't entirely square, so it varies from 1 to 3 inches at the side, and at the front, 14 inches. These are requested solely to allow proper floor alignment. Introducing additional setbacks would result in awkward articulations that would be inconsistent with the overall design vocabulary. Finally, due to the upslope and cross slope of the property, without the special permit for height and the declining height envelope, the project would be forced into a flat roof configuration, which would be out of character with the surrounding neighborhood. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, question for the applicant. Yeah. I understand the overall height issue. We've approved these several times when they're on an upslope like this, so I get it. But it does seem to me that you could lower the pitch on the roof and actually match your adjacent neighbor on the left side instead of going up 2 feet. Is that something you looked at, or?
Well, I felt that the difference wasn't so substantial that we needed to match it. I was trying to get a roof pitch that I thought worked with this kind of modern farmhouse vocabulary.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then on the front, the 2-story articulation on the front now, had you looked at maybe doing a different material there rather than just rolling the board and batten around? Because it could give a nice articulation to that and give it a little pop, and maybe not everything being as white.
Yeah, this is my first modern farmhouse, and that seems to be the standard vocabulary for the modern farmhouse. And I typically do tend to articulate things. I've done a lot of more houses that are a lot more modern, and I've used different materials, contrasting wood areas with stucco areas. I was playing it safe. If the planning
I would
were to
encourage
push,
it otherwise,
Yeah.
because we actually have a fair number of these that have gone flat. So when they go all white and a very small board and batten, they become a flat design and they don't actually work great. So something to consider.
now did they have the 1 inch by 3 inch board and batten, or did it somehow get flattened out in general?
Well, the white just whitewashes
I see.
everything.
Okay.
And so, and with a white trim and only a thin frame window, it becomes
Okay.
little to no articulation. So, okay, those are my questions, sorry.
Other questions?
Yes, did you consider on the roof, so I'm not an architect, so excuse me if I say something wrong, but on the left-hand side, at least some kind of a hip roof, sort of like a, to take that corner off, which is pretty substantial there where near the other house, so that you were coming away at an angle more? Did you consider another roof form?
I didn't consider it because I feel like that's out of character with this particular vernacular. Also, the house to the left has the exact same ending. So even though we're 2 feet higher, it's kind of match to match. They're facing each other. They
Okay,
have the exact same thing facing our property that we would be facing their property with.
okay, and then I guess I had a similar question about, I don't know if it's exactly the same, but there's a lot of vertical and it's quite tall looking for this street. And because of you've emphasized it more with the vertical lines. So did you consider any banding or something of interest to make it at least appear shorter than it is? Some horizontal element? you've got your overhang there, the awning, that it just seems to stop kind of in a funny place there, sort of in between windows. And was wondering, maybe there would be use in bringing it all the way across in that area.
Hmm.
Did you consider that?
I didn't consider that. I think I was trying to emphasize the verticality, and that's sort of a typical thing, I think, for the modern farmhouse, but I could consider, we did continue the line of the uh, porch to the line of the lower roof on, it's a smaller element to the right, and conceivably, we could run that line all the way across, although I'm not sure I like that. We could also possibly have it cut in a little bit, sort of like a broken pediment sort of effect, so it wouldn't go all the way across, but it would maybe create a little bit more of the effect you're seeking.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Just a quick question about the front door. Is it a wood and glass, all wood? And it's,
Can't recall what we did, and it's
I don't think it has any
not,
specific.
not terribly important to me at this point. It's if you guys had a preference, but I would think it'd be wood and glass.
The only reason it's important is because the neighbor has expressed concerns about privacy. So if it was all glass, it'd just be one more thing to add to the
I
list.
see, yeah.
So, okay,
Wouldn't be all glass, but probably something with some glass in it.
understood.
Oh, I do have one more question, sorry. The, on your overhang, your main gable, how deep is it?
You know, I can't recall right now, but it's at least a foot, and I would guess no more than 2 feet.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on this item? Please note the speakers are limited to 3 each. Okay, seeing none, I am going to close the public hearing. Okay, commissioners, comments?
You want to go?
I was, sure, yeah. Usually I go last, I'll go first. Let's see. So I definitely understand the design intent. I agree that a lot of these things are in keeping with the design we've seen with a lot of houses like this. And I don't have an issue with really any of that. Unfortunately, they're being used on a house that's already sat up really high. And so my only concerns really have to do with the fact how large this might look from the sidewalk, which I think would. So I guess I'll just kind of start with that because I think there's a lot of good details that are already on here and kind of leave it to everyone else now.
Sure. Ladies first.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I quite like a lot of the design that has been created thus far for this, the study session. But when I see, when I see a long list of variances and special permits on a project, and then when I study the staff report and see that there is, I think it's less than half of the lot coverage is being utilized, and I have to think about why we have planning guidelines, and they are to help and create, give you direction to balance a property on, a structure on a property, and to take into account setbacks and light and air and views and privacy of neighbors. And so I feel like there are some of these special requests that I can support. A 5-foot left declining height envelope, 5 square feet. I mean, it's not a big issue, but I think that the front setback variance requests, both on the first and the second story, is a larger thing. I think I commend you for trying to work with the existing home and not just, tear everything down and start from scratch. So I do respect that. And I think that if you were to retain the first floor, um, existing kind of footprint and because of that, have to request that front setback variance or for the first floor, that can make some sense. I think on the second floor, it's a different thing, and I feel like, and I think Commissioner Pfaff was kind of getting to it, the very vertical element of the most forward architectural element under the gable, the front-facing gable, seems to be, it's very tall, of course, and then the verticality is accentuated by the the board and batten siding. But it seems that if that second story was set back to meet the requirements, giving you a space to actually extend that roof form across the front landing and across to the right-hand side, that could make some improvements, as well as kind of minimize that that very tall element there at the front of the house. It all looks like it's going to fall down on the two garage doors. Like it just feels very heavy and strong and tall. And I think breaking down that element could really help soften the house on the street. And I think in line with that, the front porch, which I think you're also utilizing what used to be a street-facing front door, is now going to be a side-facing entry door. It seems very shallow, and partly it could be because the roof up above is high. If that was maybe brought down a little bit more and feel a little bit more pedestrian friendly or, human size friendly, that could help. I feel like there's just some relationship here with the vertical elements and shallowness that is not balanced enough for me on this front elevation. So if you could address that, I think that other than the neighbor's comment on the left-hand side with the windows, I think that that's a valid point. I think the elevations are developed quite nicely. I think the rear sliding door, I guess coming out of the living room or family room, could use a little shade structure, a little bit of overhang or something. I think that the rear elevation is very flat. Maybe could also receive some attention, get a little bit more ornamental with a roof element, maybe some corbels, some other kind of detailing to enhance the rear of the. Sorry, I thought I turned on my do not disturb. So I think some attention to the rear for the comfort of the people living in the home, and also just for that rear view from the yard would be nice, especially since the yard is quite extensive. I would also just, maybe encourage you to look at expanding the house a little bit at the back. You're preserving so much of the house that you may alleviate some of the issues that are happening with with all of these variance requests and special permits by giving yourself a little bit more space to expand the home towards the back and get some little bit more living space and eliminate some of these special requests.
Oh, you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with my fellow commissioner. I'm having trouble with so many requests as well. And it looks like I didn't ask, but I'm going to just mention, it does not look like the front walkway to the door, the quasi porch, is very deep. So that's a problem too. Everything looks flattened towards the front. And if there's so much space in the back, I too don't really understand why it's being forced toward the front. And it is very imposing, I find, the street, and looks top heavy over the garage. And I was thinking, well, maybe the garage doors, if they were painted white, it wouldn't look quite as top heavy, maybe. I don't know. I think more work could be done on this to improve it and give it some push and pull, some back and forth. Even though it is this style, I get it. It's just not very interesting. It's just looks like here I am, big house and big vertical house, and I don't think it's very respectful of the neighboring homes. And it can be. It's not like it's being forced. There's a reason that you would have to do it this way when there are other alternatives. I also have to say, I don't understand probably the three, whatever it is, the 3'11" or 9 or whatever it is, somewhere in there. It's probably going to be largely destroyed anyhow. So I don't understand why that variance can't simply be made no variance and just come to do the line properly and make it 4 feet. At least do that, towards your neighbor on your left. And I do find that the left side is really quite difficult up there, imposing. So those are my comments.
Okay. I actually don't have as many troubles with the variances because I actually don't think they're that large in the big scheme of things. I normally don't like variances, but in this case, the 1 and 3, the 1 or 3 inches on the left and the existing walls, I think that there's something to be said for the reuse. I think there's an opportunity to lower the peak of the roof, or at least look at it, so that it maybe is a little less. You're still going to end up with a variance either way because there's no way you're going to get under 30. But I think if it was closer to aligning with the neighboring roof, probably a bit more palatable. I like the windows. I like the articulation. I actually don't mind the verticality of the front element. I would just probably be looking for a material shift, or another way to maybe do that is to put a belly band at the bottom, which would give it a harder chin, and start to squeeze on how much vertical board and batten is there. Because you could also do something up in the gable end, and then it would actually make that element not look as tall and imposing as it does, given the 3-story nature of what's going on. I'm in support of the overall height concern because of the way that the property works. So I don't see that that's any different than we would have done for many others. So I think, I understand the desire to maybe push back, but I think that there is quite a bit of reuse being proposed here. And even the wall that's, it's not square and it may or may not be 3'9" to 3'11" from the property line, which nobody knows where it is. I'm not sure that that's worth tearing out that foundation and starting over. So I'm in support of the variance requests on that. So I would just be looking for a tad more articulation or a change on that big vertical piece in the front. And I think I could be supportive of this project. Thanks.
Yeah, overall, I think the design's nice. I'm not a big fan of the modern farmhouse because they are kind of redundant a little bit in Burlingame. I live next to one, and they do get a little bit boring when they're all white. So I'm in support of changing that up a little bit. But again, that's a subjective thing, not something that's going to hang me up. It is massive next to its neighbor. It's a big box next to a big box. They were there first. And so I guess I agree with Commissioner Schmid. I'm okay with the variances. I love the reuse. I think that's commendable, which is why I'm okay with a lot of these variances. But I wish that second floor was set back just a little bit to give a little bit of relief. And I realize the first floor is there already, but as we know, that is a very shallow pitched roof on a single story, so it makes sense. All of a sudden, we put a large box on top of that, and it becomes very squishy. So I think there can be some thought to that. If you hate that idea and it doesn't change, I don't think I would be against the project, but I would certainly look at that again. I also don't love the porch. I'm a big fan of porches. I think they should be very intentful. This one doesn't feel that way. It feels very accidental, more of a, just a quick way to stay out of the rain, which may be all that you're looking for, but I feel like there's an opportunity here to have a wider porch, which I think would do good things for the house, not bad things. So it's just another thing to consider. But to sum things up, I like the reuse. I don't have an issue with the height. My biggest issue probably is just the articulation of the home next to its neighbor, and it's without a relief of a setback. So, yeah, but overall, I'm positive about the project.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, right, so I'll just add a few things that I was thinking of throughout. Basically agree with all my fellow commissioners on this. It's a good use of the design. It's just, it might be the highest roof line on that street. Even though it's only, granted a foot over where it's at right now. I think there's a lot of things that could be done on like a second pass to try and de-emphasize that difference. One of the emails sent in mentioned lowering the roof and then making some of the windows that face the front dormer windows. That's an option. We also had a modern farmhouse design on Balboa and Hillside a year or two ago that I think is done with construction now. They did a really good job. They had large sections of the hillside frontage that were kind of set back at the second story a little bit. And underneath they had the standing seam metal roof come out. So if you're going to extend the porch, maybe extending the porch awning some more and continuing that either with the kind of broken pediment effect or by actually running a section of the metal roof across between the first and second stories, that's an option. I think there's a lot of different things that people have mentioned that could maybe de-emphasize that. Do we have any motions?
I'll take a stab at it.
Sure.
I'd like to move that we bring this back on action. Our overall feedback, and it's going to be varied because I think we have varied comments here, so I'm trying to give it some summary. But I think that we are concerned with the overall height, and if there's an opportunity to bring down that peak, we are in agreement that the two-story vertical form in the front has opportunity either to be set back or to be articulated in a different way to maybe minimize its verticality. The addressing maybe the porch and whether or not there's an opportunity to either widen to the right or bring forward, although I think the forward might be at the setback line already. And
Rear elevation.
Rear.
on the rear elevation, consider an awning or some sort of built form that goes over the doors to provide rain protection, but it would also then provide articulation for that elevation, which I would definitely agree with. Any other ones?
You'll summarize all the special variants and
I think the variances are going to be a matter of what they can figure out as a solution, and they're going to have to own it one way or the other. I mean, I think some of us would agree that the variances could be achieved. Others are saying no. So they're going to have to, I think, come back with a total package that convinces all of us to come to a big agreement. So that may be sacrificing some things, and it may be not sacrificing others, so that we can come to agreement.
Can I ask my colleagues something? Do any of you actually know the depth of that porch from the drawings?
it's on here.
I believe it's 5.
It looks like it's,
Almost 5 feet.
Is it almost?
yeah,
Okay.
what you're seeing on the roof, on the site plan is that the roof is extending over it. So it's not as short as you think.
4'6".
4'6", I'm saying depth.
Yeah.
Right.
This.
Yes. Got it. Thank you. Could be.
It's not as deep as some, but it's not the shortest we've seen.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that capture? Anybody feeling left out? Did I do it
No,
appropriately enough?
Yes.
I think it's okay.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Schmidt. Any seconds?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, and seconded by Commissioner Smith. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, may we please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmid,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
Aye.
Acting Chair Shores.
Aye.
So that motion passes 5010.
Okay. This action is not appealable. And now moving on to agenda item 9, staff commissioner reports. And then also we can bring in Commissioner Haran.
Do you want to? Okay.
Thank you.
And yeah, for anyone else in the audience listening online, item 8C 1822 Sebastian Drive has been continued at the request of the applicant. Public hearing notices will be sent out once that is agendized. Let's see, as far as staff commission comments, staff does not have anything to share this evening. That's from staff. Do the honors.
You mean you don't double?
All right. Are we on 9 or are we already finished? The meeting is adjourned?
I said, I gave the title.
Awesome. Meeting is adjourned at 8:20.
Okay,
Thank you.
wouldn't want you to forget your glasses.